A lot of good gear came out in 2025, but these were the top 10 for me. Stick around because some of this gear may be stuff that you need yourself or may consider for the future. Links to all the products will be down in the description. Thanks again for supporting the channel. First up is a big purchase of the year, and that was the Sony FX2. Before I bought this camera, I was already using the Sony FX30 and the Sony a7 IV. I always felt like I needed both of them to be one body if Sony was interested in doing that. Like the Sony FX30 body, but the Sony a7 IV photo capabilities with the mechanical shutter. I take a lot of photos in church, and when I took the FX30 with me, I got lots of banding in my images. Random bars crossed my images, and it wasn't fun. So the FX2 is a great hybrid solution of both the photo and the video. The Sony FX2 has a full frame sensor, and although I don't necessarily need a full frame camera, it is nice to have the Super 35mm mode to help expand the usability of my lenses, but also having the mechanical shutter and a viewfinder. I still use the Sony FX30, and using it has even gotten better since I bought our next item. That's the Sigma 17-40mm f1.8. If you're coming from the DSLR world, you know about the famous Sigma 18-35mm f1.8. Lots of people use it, and it's popular for a reason. When I combined this new 17-40mm with my Sony FX30, I just fell in love. I have experience adapting the 18-35, and it was just big and chunky. So although the image quality was great, it's just a lot of weight overall just to mount to the FX30. Now that we have a mirrorless version of the lens, the image quality is just as good, if not better, and it's even lighter. Using this combo has been especially easier when I started using it with the iFootage Shark Nano 2 slider. I do a lot of product shots for this channel, and I did start out with the tripod and video fluid head. I had the pans, the tilts, and even tried to use a gimbal. And it definitely got the job done. But ever since I started coming up with different ideas on how to shoot things, I thought maybe this slider would be a cheaper version of what that could do. You see, this slider can be combined with DJI gimbals, or at least most of them. And things have been so much easier when it comes to panning, tilting, and programming movements that can be repeated over and over again, no problem. If you're not fond of using sliders and have never even seen this particular slider, it seems kind of whack. Seems even like maybe even a gimmick. But after I discovered the different kinds of functions that I could do with the gimbal and the slider, it's so hard to go back. Best of all, you don't even have to use an application to be able to program all those moves. You could just do it straight on the slider and never even have to touch the phone app if you don't want. Now filming B-roll, skits, or whatever else that I could think of has become so much easier. But unfortunately, this can't stand on its own, so I pair it with this next piece of gear, which is the small rig Tribex tripod. Setting up for your shot can be tedious after a while, especially if you're adjusting on one leg at a time, manually. But with the Tribex tripod, it's just made everything a whole lot smoother. With one press of a button, I can deploy all the legs at the same time, getting that height just right. The only time that I manually adjust each leg is if I make the legs even wider. But most of the time, I don't need to. So it's just awesome to be able to use this combo. I expand the legs, snap the slider into place, put on the gimbal, and it's ready to go. But not all the gear that I bought this year was fancy just like this, because I decided to try something new when I bought this next piece of gear, the DJI Osmo Action 5. Now, it's not necessarily new, but it's the first time in a long time since I've used an action camera. For a long time, I kept an action camera out of my kit because I only felt like they were good for doing water activities, which I don't do. But I decided to try to use it for vlogging, and I was surprised to see that the quality was actually pretty good. Not only can you push the footage out of the camera with log, but the ease of use has been even better since DJI allowed wireless pairing with their own microphones. So now not only do you have great wide angle cameras, but you also have great audio close up and even far away from the camera. So with this in mind, I decided to buy the next item, the DJI Mic Mini. Back in the Casey Neistat days, you thought that you also had to buy a DSLR with this big microphone on top and a whole Joby tripod, the works. But since DJI has improved their action cameras and also paired it up with their wireless mics, this vlogging camera is less than half the size of a DSLR with a mic, and the quality is almost just as good. I do have the DJI Mic 2 and use that if I need 32-bit float, but most of the time, nowadays, I'm just using the Mic Mini because it's plenty enough. I just record myself and keep a small, low profile, and I can easily recommend it to any content creator starting out, especially if anybody just wants to vlog themselves or family and friends. And since I film myself a lot, I really like this next item for YouTube videos, the Elgato Prompter. Now, I've bought teleprompters before where you put your phone on, use your tablets, and they're great. But my gripe was always having to use that iPad or phone for the teleprompter. The teleprompter right now is far from my reach, and I always have to hunch over, scroll back, and sit back up, and then scroll back whenever I make the mistakes. Terrible experience. On top of that, you get notifications, and your battery even dies out. The workflow is just not fun. But when I went to the B&H Build event, I saw this at the Elgato booth, and I knew that my problems were solved. This thing has a built-in monitor, it plugs right into my computer, loads in my text with their software, and it just works. If I need to go back, I can just scroll, and they got this thing called Voice Sync where it takes the audio from your microphone and syncs it with the teleprompter. It's not perfect, it has some bugs, but I still love this teleprompter because it just makes my workflow better than it was before. I love that not only can I use this as a teleprompter, but I can use it for video calls so that when I talk to, let's say, my tutor when I'm studying another language, I can look at them like right in the face, at least in the appearance of the camera, just like I am with you. Hands down, one of my favorite things that lives on my desk next to my next favorite purchase of 2025, the Amaran Verge Max. This is a pancake light. With the thickness of an iPhone, this has the power to not only light up my face, but it also doesn't take up too much desk space. Since replacing my Amaran 60X with the softbox, I haven't noticed a difference in quality when it comes to how dim or how bright this thing can get. If anything, it just feels and seems brighter. Before, I used to have a softbox that would block my ultra-wide screen, but now I don't have that. If anything, my desk is cleaner, simpler, and it's also easier to control when I pair it with this next item, the Stream Deck XL. Now, the XL version is definitely overkill for most people, but depending on the app that I pair it with, some of those spaces are even empty. But the two apps that I love using it with are the Amaran Desktop app and Notion. For the Amaran Desktop app, I'm able to program different lights for different functions to go on and off, to illuminate at different percentages, and even change colors at a press of a button. But when it comes to Notion, that's when I start filling up most of the buttons. Notion is where I do a lot of my script writing because I write in a lot of my B-roll, the movements for the shots, sound effects, and it's quite repetitive when I type in every single thing. So once I program text with each of the buttons, it has made my script writing so much easier. But of all the gear that I bought and use the most, it's definitely gotta be the Bamboo A1 3D printer. I love this for organization. I review and test out a lot of gear for this channel. So being able to know where things are so important. I've tried generic bins before from IKEA and they've made it work, but the OCD in me pushed me to optimize every little space that I could while still avoiding mess. So not only have I 3D printed bins for organization, but also mounts for my charging wall, stuff for under my desk, and I'm still got a lot of things on my mind that I still want to make. Took a couple videos to learn how to start designing, but man, it's so worth it. They got a lot of great deals at the end of the year, so definitely check those out. Save it for the wish list if you can't get one now. But that's the best gear that I bought in 2025, and I'm looking forward to see how more creative we can get in 2026. Want to see the other gear that I bought last year? Well, check it out right over here.